Hi, this is Attuament of Agama Natural Divine Heart Shine of Healing, and welcome to Peace Prayer Interfaith Ministry Global Attunement to Peace. So let us start. In starting the Peace Prayer Interfaith Ministry of Agama Natural Divine Heart Shine of Healing, as its founder and chief priest, I found it difficult to define peace as an individual. And in order for me to be enlightened with what peace is all about, I have to go through to understand what is not peace. So what is not peace all about? As I think of my personal definition of peace, I believe that there are no exact words to define and describe peace unless a certain individual experience by themselves peace. And this is the exact purpose of our global attunement to peace. That is to have a first-hand experience of peace and not just merely knowing the definition of peace as provided by any individual outside from ourselves. The definition of peace must be lived in our life. The definition of peace must be actively felt in our life. The definition of peace must be acted out in our life, and not just simply knowing the word and definition of peace. Peace must be alive within us, and peace must be our fuel to drive as we are living our life here on earth. So, what is not peace all about? Can we really define peace? I tried to experiment by asking some friends here in Riyadh to define peace in their own words, and not relying on the definition given in dictionary, Google, Wikipedia, nor any person in authority to define peace. Like myself, I observed that they had a long pause of thinking what peace really is. So instead of asking for the direct definition of peace, I changed my question to what is not peace. So what is not peace all about? Probably all of you will think that war is the answer to the question of what is not peace. I also think the same, and to all that I ask with that question, I believe that war is the answer to the question of what is not peace. And a perfect example of not having peace. But now again in my mind, there is another question to answer, and that is, what is war? And why do people engage into warfare? War is a situation that happens when people do fight from one another to the point of taking one another's life. As I am looking for definition of war by asking questions to my friends, I found out that there are hierarchy in warfare. Come to think of hierarchy, it is leveling up from simple to complex to long-term conditions. So let us begin by describing how do wars start. So how do wars start? Okay, war can be brought by a simple misunderstanding of one individual to another individual because of their differences. The differences that might be brought by language, appearance, like status, gender, beliefs, political or religious, nationality, ethnicity, race, etc. That misunderstanding may lead into hatred, and hatred into argument, argument into physical fighting, fighting into combat, which means it's a higher form of fight that a certain individual is determined to win the fight, and combat into a long-term warfare. The long-term warfare will result into many casualties. Casualties are damages as a result or effect of not having peace. These casualties may also start from simple to complex to long-term suffering to every individual involved. Casualties may start from the mind of the offender to the offended, and may also contaminate other individuals by spreading the cause of offense that leads to a long-term warfare. Casualties may include physical injury such as bruise, bleeding due to cut, laceration wounds, etc. Mental, emotional, social, and even to the worst of spiritual casualties. There are destroyed homes, relationships, properties, business, beliefs, and even governmental functions. And the most worst casualties that the absence of peace may brought to humanity is terror, which I believe personally as the highest form of fear that will destroy mankind. From terror, human will lose their sense of identity, confidence, courage, self-esteem, and self-pride. From the absence of peace, mankind will start to want instead of need. People will act to get what they want from other people by force. They will steal, rob, loot, etc. Out of their wanting, greed will be born. From greed, they will learn to corrupt, and from corruption comes poverty. There are many other things to describe the absence of peace and its result to our society. Not all of those things are to be mentioned here, and as I say that the result of not having peace is probably you already know and have experienced it already. All of us become slaves because of the absence of peace. All of us become a prisoner of the negativity that are freely roaming around in our society because of the absence of peace. And because of the absence of peace, we become ignorant and forgot the true nature of ourselves. Thus we are easily submitting to the flowery promises of those false savior that will give you peace but was not. My brothers and sisters in humanity, please allow me to remind you that peace is not a gift to be given easily by others, to be received by us. Peace is what we really are. And since our identity has been stolen, that identity cannot be received from another being. Our identity as peace is created within ourselves. It is reared, taken care of, grow, and bear fruit abundantly, then shared. If peace is to be given like a gift, and we are the recipient of that gift, then we owe something to the giver. Since we owe our peace to the giver, we are then obliged to pay back. And if that's so, that piece of peace is not peace, but slavery. Let me give an example what giving is like compared to sharing. Example of giving will be like this. I have something and you have none. Okay? Then I give you what I have. And what I have now goes to you. Since you have the thing that I have before, that leaves me nothing to have. Since I don't have anything because I already gave it to you, then you are obliged to give back something to me as your conscience compels you to do. In contrast to sharing, if I have something and you have none, I share some of what I have so that both of us will have. In sharing, no one is empty-handed. Everyone has something to hold on. With the little thing that we have, when we share with one another, it becomes big. In sharing, it is like both of us are filling up the emptiness of one another, and in being together, we become whole. In sharing peace, you are not making anyone to be your slave by making them to owe something from you. Sharing peace with other makes you a complete person, and by sharing peace, you will find your true identity and purpose in life as a creature of peace. So now, how to be attuned to peace? Very exciting, isn't it? Okay. Probably every one of us already have heard the song, "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me." So I will not continue, okay? So that is how we are going to start the peace attunement, okay? And in that song, it teaches us that peace on earth will begin with us as individual. So the process of our global attunement to peace will not require complex procedures of rituals and only requires you and your willingness to elevate or to ascend to the level of vibrating peace in your life every day. Thus everyone may or can be attuned to peace, okay, whether the individual is reading, listening, or watching the global attunement to peace handouts, through handout, blog talk radio, or in YouTube. And once reading, listening, or watching this attunement, it is great if these handout procedures could be shared to others. So at the end of this program, you will see the links where you can find this script for your personal copy to share with your loved ones and friends. As it is mentioned, the process of global attunement to peace will start with our very own self, which is I, me, and mine. So claim it. I, me, and mine. And as you read this, it also pertains to you. Okay? But let us start within ourselves. With I, me, and mine. So attuning to peace. The first step of attuning to peace is one, by knowing yourself. Do you know yourselves? Do you know who am I? Do you know? Are you aware of who you are and what you are? What a silly question, isn't it? But seriously, do you know who you are? I will ask you now to sit down or stand up in front of a mirror. Do you know who you are looking at? What did you see? Can you clearly see yourself in the mirror? What kind of being do you see yourself? Most of us now have lost our own awareness to our self-identity. Even though we have a name to identify us, but that name is only good for others to know, to identify us. When we are alone and if we stand in front of the mirror, you might probably see a person that looks like you, but actually that is not you. Yes, it's not you. You may see yourself as a man or a woman, dressed up with many identities, such as male, female, even members of LGBT community, young, old, pretty or not, slim, fat, etc., etc., etc. Maybe some of you see yourself in front of a mirror as a priest or a priestess, a devotee, seeker, teacher, doctor, engineer, lawyer, massage therapist, everything. You can find yourself, you can identify yourself with many titles. But aside from that, is there anything else that can you see? Can you see yourself as a human being? Now, as a human being, how do you look like right now? I believe that knowing ourselves, being a human, and embracing our humanity should be the first thing we should acknowledge in order to be attuned to the vibration of peace. As a human being, we are physical, emotional, intellectual, and socio-spiritual being. To be globally attuned to peace, we must get to know ourselves with these different aspects of our life. Okay, let us begin by knowing ourselves, by acknowledging our physical aspect. So, I'm asking you right now to see yourself in front of a mirror and look for your physical appearance. Can you see your hair? How does it look like? Touch it. How does it feel? Can you see your face in front of the mirror? How does it look like? Are you happy seeing yourself in front of the mirror? Are you happy with your hair? See every part of your body from head to toe. What did you see? Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied or happy seeing yourself? After seeing every part of your body, what do you think about yourself? Do you feel anything when seeing yourself in the mirror? Did you find any problem with any parts of your body? So if you do, just jot it down. Remember that, okay? Later, we will deal every part of your body that you have seen. So after seeing your body, write it down in a piece of paper, any problem that you saw while seeing your body. Then after seeing your physical body, ask yourself what emotions do you constantly experience in your daily life. So when you wake up in the morning, what is your emotion? Are you happy? Do you still feel tired and sleepy? Or you're always mad? I was like this. Or are you always lonely? Ask yourself, why? Why you have this emotion every day? Do you think that your emotions are serving you well? Is there any person, individual, or situation in your life that contribute to make you feel that emotion? Is it pleasant or good for you? Now, what about the flow of your thoughts? What are the things that runs in your mind? Are you always worried about what you will eat, drink, or are you always concerned with what people think or tell about you? Is your thoughts always in your activities, work, deadlines, etc.? Oh my, grabe. How do other individuals see you? Okay? Do you smile? Do you laugh? Or are you kind of person who always tell people and say them, back off? Do you always do service to others and neglect your personal responsibility to yourself? Or are you happy and good when you are alone? These questions are only part of the reality that we need to see in our life. For me as a person, I believe that there are only two living conditions mankind do live, and that is pleasant and unpleasant. The answer to the above questions will help us to move on to the second process of our attunement to peace, which is to know our needs. Okay, we already have asked ourselves, we already identified the condition, the present condition of our life, physically, emotionally, mentally, social, and spiritually. So let us get to know or to deal with what our needs. Basically, I believe that all our needs are provided in this world before we were created. Like an expectant mother giving birth to a child, as a responsible parent, all the needs of the newborn baby are already been prepared. Such need of a newborn are diapers, milk, feed, etc. And seeing a newborn baby embraced in the loving arms of a mother while breastfeeding is such a wonderful scenery that could be attributed to peace, which is having life. And that is the true meaning of peace for me. But as we answer the questions given above in our self-evaluation and knowing ourselves, we see that our basic needs expand. From the need to eat, drink, clothing, and shelter, it becomes complex as we grow old and mature. It is good for us to remember that as individuals, our needs differ from one another, though all of us has same basic needs. These differences makes each individual unique and special. For example, a newborn baby cannot eat like an adult. We cannot make a baby consume a full fat roasted cow as an adult can consume. Maybe you can consume all, but as a little baby it cannot. And with these differences among every individual, we as peace minister, peace weaver, is only responsible for our own need. Of course, when I say own, it does include our family, our mother, our father, our brothers, sisters, and even if you are already a parent, your children. Okay? So when I say all, it includes our family as your own personal responsibility, nothing more and nothing less. So our responsibility is to ourselves and to our family. Let us be aware that sometimes some of our need becomes enslaving us. And if this happen, it is not already a need but a greed. Our need must serve so that we may have peace. But in serving our needs, it does not require to be served and make other individual unhappy. Acquiring what we need is a joyous situation to celebrate. Thus, when we obtain it, we are happy, and to the point that we share our happiness with the whole family and friends, isn't it? And as a final word in understanding our needs, let us be reminded with this maxim that in order to be filled, we must be empty. Do you remember that? In order to be filled, we must be empty. And of course, we do not want to be filled anew with an unclean cup. We don't drink dirty cups, okay? Think about that, my brothers and sisters. So let's proceed to attuning to peace by work. You have known yourself and you have identified your need. So the next thing to do to attune to peace is to work out the needs that you have identified. Do not expect the heaven will fall and give you all what you need. You have your hands to work. You have your feet to walk. So work and walk. You have the eyes to see, ears to hear, nose to smell, mouth to speak, hands to work, and feet to walk. So work is the use of energy, and this is the evidence that we live. It is taking action through movement and motion. We have learned about ourselves and understand our needs. By this knowledge and understanding, we have to take action in supplying our needs through work. As we have mentioned, all of our basic needs are already available to us. We only need to stretch out and free ourselves from the limitations that we have. Use any available resources around you, and from these resources, create and recreate and prosper. By working out our limitations, we will obtain freedom, and from freedom to justice, from justice to integrity, and from integrity to a lasting peace. Peace is not a gift to be given away. It is our true nature to work out peace in our lives. So whatever that makes you to not experience peace, break away from that situation and work out to have peace. Being into a non-peaceful situation is an individual choice. So it is your choice if you are into a non-peaceful situation. And having a non-peaceful situation is a situation created by an individual. And to make it more clearly, non-peaceful situation is not an act of creation, but it is an act of destruction. With this, it is your personal choice to create peace, or you want to destroy. What is your choice? But I say, choose to create peace. And this is the reason why we are doing this global attunement to peace. Now, as a final word, you have created peace. What to do next to be attuned? In order to be attuned to peace is you have to share the peace that you have. Make it prosper. Make it abundant in your life. You have so much peace right now. So the next thing you do is to share that peace. How to share that peace? So this lesson will discuss about the works of peace weavers or peace ministers. As peace weaver or minister, it is our primary responsibility and duty to create and maintain peace in our lives. And upon making peace in our lives, it is our duty to minister unto other by sharing our peace to the world. So below, so how to minister peace? How to live peace with others? One, the basic one or the easiest one is to communicate peace through prayer every day. Every day, you are living peace through prayer. Prayer to our deity. We pray for the people around us. We pray for ourselves and to the people around us. So maybe on another topic we will discuss about prayer, okay? Or you may want to perform a weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly peace ritual. You may also conduct a healing circle ritual that is giving peace to the people. You talk on the healing circle, you gather your friends and family and talk about what is not peace and try to give them enlightenment on how to obtain peace in their life. Then we can live peace by reaching out to our society in terms of listening to their problem and act as a counselor. So that's what we are doing right now. Even through phone, through text, through email, through chat, we can be a counselor to the people who need peace. And as a peace weaver or minister, we use our mind's eye to see light even in the darkest hour of a certain individual life. Not everyone is in the light. People are experiencing dark moments in their life. And even in that dark moment, let us open our eyes and see what is good happening to that person. And instead of, we transform that negativity into positivity, thus preparing that individual to face the situation of his life by holding on to the peace. And lastly, we may volunteer to a charity institution, either for the homeless, single mother, senior citizen, and those who have special needs. So there are many charitable institutions around the world that we can volunteer. So if you have time to do so, please volunteer. As peace weaver and ministers, we do not need to have a firearm and volunteer ourselves to go to areas where there are literal warfare. Every day in our life, in our very own community, there is war happening. So reach out to people who need peace by doing the peace prayer as we journey through this life every day. Blessed be peace.